All right, we've got a very short section. Take a couple of notes. I'm going to show you a couple of examples, and you'll be out of here with this section. Only a few questions, not heavily tested. But again, it's one of those that if they give you one question, you're in trouble if you don't know how to do it. So we want to talk about both short and long-term investments. So this is what I want you to do. Write down these 4 categories of investments that we can have and how we actually account for them, either at cost or at fair value. And then I'll take one of those and elaborate on it a little bit more. The first one are financial assets held for trading. Financial assets, investments held for trading. In other words, we would sell them and convert them to cash instantly if we needed to. We value these at fair value. What are they worth right now? And the idea would be I'd sell it tomorrow if I needed my money. Okay? Typically, these are short-term current assets. Secondly, held to maturity investments. In other words, we're going to hold them for a long period of time. We're using them for the production of income and maybe even control of an organization. And I'm going to come back and visit that one in a minute. We use either cost or the equity method, and that's what I'll show you. Number 3, available for sale, which is basically the ones that won't fall into any of these other categories. That's what it is. It's a catch-all. It's at fair value. And then loans and receivables originated by the enterprise, and that would be at cost. Loans and receivables originated by the enterprise, that's recorded at cost. Okay? So we have 4 types. Number 1, financial assets held for trading, fair value. Held to maturity or for long-term, investment at cost or equity. Available for sale is the catch-all if it doesn't quite meet the other criteria. It's at fair value. And loans and receivables originated by the enterprise is at cost. Okay? And they'll be classified as current or long-term accordingly. Now, let me give you some notes to take on the cost and equity method and why we would have 2 of these things. I'll try to parallel the transactions. Under the cost method, one basic thing is happening. I have an investment in an asset, and I would debit the investment, and I would credit cash for whatever that amount is, $10,000. Now, I would have on the other side the same entry. Now, it might be for a lot more money, because the primary difference here is one of control. Typically, if you own 20% or more of the stock, you're going to account for it under the equity method in this situation. Cost is where you don't have control. You really are using it just to produce some income for you. Now, when the company makes a profit, over here nothing happens. Over here something does. So with profitability, let's say over here I own 30% of the stock and the company made $100,000, I would have a debit to my investment account for $30,000. I own 30% of the company, so I get 30% of the profits, and I would have income from this sub of $30,000. So when the sub earns money, I earn money. They get a profit, I get a profit. Very simple process. Nothing happens over here when that takes place. Now, the company decides to declare a dividend. All right? And we receive that dividend. And let's say the dividend is $15,000. We would say debit cash for $15,000 and credit the investment. Now you say, why did you credit the investment? Because what happens is, if you'll think of it like this, I have equity in the company. When the equity of the sub goes up, my asset goes up, my investment. When the equity goes down, my asset goes down. So what makes equity go up? Making a profit. Then that would drive up my investment and give me income. But when they pay a dividend, the equity goes down. I'm receiving the cash, but my equity goes down. So the equity method, my investment rises and falls based upon my percentage of ownership with the equity of the subsidiary. Now over here, when you got that dividend, you would say debit cash, $15,000, whatever you got, and credit, dividend, income. So you would report it as revenue because you just have it for an investment, and the only income you get is exactly that. All right? So that's the difference in those two methods. I have just a couple of problems that I'd like you to do. Work those two now, and we'll blow right on by this area. All right, let's see how we did on these. Number 27. Subsequent to the initial recognition was after the initial recognition, which financial assets with quoted market prices in an active market are measured at fair value. And you know they're going to give you all four, right? So which ones are at fair value, which are not? Held to maturity investments. No, they're cost or equity. Okay, we're holding them for a long haul. Fair value wouldn't mean anything today. So we can use, because we're not going to sell it, we're sitting on it for the income. Loans and receivables originated by the enterprise, not held for trading, not at fair value, at its cost. Available for sale, fair value. Financial assets held for trade, in other words, anything that you might trade in the near future or sell, fair market value, right? Fair value. Answer C for number 27. And number 28, when the equity method is used to account for the investment in an associate, the recording of the receipt of a cash distribution from the investee results in what? In other words, remember when they paid a dividend. What does that do to the equity? Equity, the sub goes down, then your investment does what? It goes down. Just think of their equity and your investment go up and down together. So whatever would make their equity go up makes yours go up. Equity goes down, your investment goes down. So a dividend would make their equity reduce. It comes out of retained earnings. Therefore, my investment would go down with it. Answer B, a reduction in the investment balance. So not too complicated with investments. They're kind of minor compared to the rest of the stuff. But you need to know it just in case. All right? Well, let's go to the next big bite that we're getting ready to take, okay?